Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Blockchain Chronicles. My name is Jude Newcomb. I'm really excited for today's episode. We have another team from the NFT space. It's a space of blockchain that's growing more and more dear to my heart. Today we have a project called Bready Bunch, which is a great name. And we have two of the founders of the project who both happen to be the artistic leads on the project as well. We have Avocado and Bready. Guys, welcome to the program. How are you?
Well, hi guys. Well, I'm Mr. Avocado, and we have my partner here, Bready. We are the co-founders of Bready Bunch, just like how Jude just mentioned. So we both are freelance 3D artists, and this is our first NFT project.
Awesome. It's great to have you here. And did you, before you got into Bready Bunch, let's talk a little bit about your background. What, I guess I'll start with you, Avocado. Have you always been involved with art and creating art? What's your background?
I've been involved in art as long as I remember. I mean, I know it sounds very cliche when someone says that, but I've been doing art since childhood, but I never took it seriously. But it helped me a lot growing up. I'm kind of in the autistic spectrum. I had a lot of issues growing up, and doing art and being like just focused on cartoons and animation helped me go through my childhood. I didn't.
So like a lot of drawings and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was just for the hobby. I didn't really focus on it much because I was honestly I was a very scared little boy growing up. I was a mama's little boy. So I never took it seriously, and I would never show it to my friends. I would just do it for my own satisfaction.
Yeah.
And I think like 15 years ago, like my dad got us our first personal computer at home, and we installed Photoshop into it. That was like CS2. I think that was like so many years ago, and we started playing with that, and eventually it became a side thing for me. But as a career, I took it seriously like 4 years ago.
Right.
But before that, I had like a day job. I used to work in the government. It was like a corporate job, and after a while, when my best friend passed away, we both were like art partners, you can say. That like art duo. Like he also used to do art with me like all the time. Like we'll hit the local festivals, we'll have like pop-up stores, we'll sell our digital prints and all that shit.
Yeah.
And I always tell him that, hey, maybe I should just do this as a full-time, like this is where my heart belongs. I think I will do really great in it. I mean, everyone starts somewhere, right? The money shouldn't be an issue. But I guess it's kind of sad to say this, but his death was kind of what motivated me to pursue this as a full-time career. I just wanted to make him proud. He passed away in 2018 in a surfing accident. And that year I decided, okay, I'm just going to quit. I'm going to pour all of my energy to this. And I got really serious. I started networking. Like I had a lot of friends throughout the years, but I never took this seriously. But when I started putting a lot of effort, I started getting gigs, ranging from like doing album covers, illustrations, animations, and over time I was able to gain a lot of good clients. I have experienced a lot of good projects over the years, and have worked with a lot of great artists over time. So it has been a hell of a journey. And I'm still growing. I'm still learning every day. I'm a guy who doesn't like to stick to one style.
Mm-hmm.
I consider myself multidisciplinary in a sense that I like doing 2D, I like doing 3D, I like doing branding, logo design. So I don't really have a fixed style per
Gotcha.
se. Um, I,
Gotcha. Well,
I-
that's a fascinating background. I think that, there's a lot there that I could, unpack. We have we don't have a few hours kind of like, Joe Rogan does, but there's a lot there. And it sounds like, a lot of things in your past, like for so many of us, kind of lead us to where we are at the present, and that's what carries us into the future. And for I think art, for a lot of people, like how any kind of passion, it's kind of like always rooted in who you are as a person. So it's no surprise to me to hear that it's something that you've been doing since you were a small child. Bread, was that kind of your experience as well? You've been doing art for ever since you can remember, or is it something that you picked up more recently?
Hey, I'm Bread Bro. So honestly, I've actually never been one to draw
Hmm.
2D or on paper, but I have this thing where I love stories and I love bringing my stories to life and bringing other people's stories to life.
Mm-hmm.
I actually started off as a software engineer and I've studied software engineering for like 2 years into my degree and I dropped out
Mm-hmm.
because honestly was I was okay, I was good at it, but it was not what my heart was at, and I was getting depressed over and over again because I was just working or studying something,
Yeah, of
and
course.
I've back then in my heart I thought I always wanted to become a game dev, and honestly I still do love game development and all that, and that whole industry is amazing, but when I touched Blender I
Mm-hmm.
felt like at home. Like I felt like I stepped into my actual house for the first time in my life. So it just opened up a new door for me in art and how to bring out what's in my head in a more physical way rather than through pen or pencil. So I actually got into Blender and Photoshop and all like 3 years ago now. And I've been working ever since. I've actually got most of my Photoshop skills out of my day job, and I've worked on Blender as for my personal stuff. And at a certain point, other people started to see it. I got the support I kind of needed to actually show and expose my work.
Hmm.
And I've actually been working with Avocado for 6 months, more than a year now, actually, though. So it's been great.
Gotcha. When you first picked up these software programs like Blender and started using them, was it something that came to you fairly easily, or did you have to? Was there a big learning curve for you personally for Bread?
It goes pretty easy to pick up because most of the creative thinking was already in my head, and what I wanted to actually be visually perceived was already in my head. I just needed to know where that feature was or where that button was. And
Yeah.
when I learned that, it was just like experimenting with toys, like basically playing with Legos. You get different pieces and you're just like, do I want to make a castle this time? Do I want to make a boat? Like, where do I go?
Right.
And you just start making a lot of shit.
Yeah, yeah. Avocado, how do you want to explain a little bit about how you and Bread met? Because that's before the idea for Bready Bunch came about, right?
so I actually know him personally years before that too.
Okay.
I didn't really know that he was into the Blender, Photoshop, and all that, but um, um, I just saw his works one day, and I was like, "Holy fuck! I need to meet this guy."
Right.
Yeah, I wanted to meet this guy, and I have a friend. His name is Eddie.
Hmm.
He was the one who linked us up, and he came over to meet me one day, and that night itself, uh, he took out his laptop, and we both of us started going through Blender, and we both worked on illustration that night. That was our first. Remember that night, Brad, bro?
Yeah, I remember that night. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was a hell of experience for me, because when it came to Blender and Photoshop and all of the softwares, everything I learned so far is from self-studies, and I would buy a lot of these online courses from like the masters I look up to.
Yeah.
And there's always this thing I always look for in other artists, that's one thing I call like critical thinking. In my opinion, as an artist or as a designer, you're a problem solver. For example, when a client comes with you a project, he's giving you a problem to solve, and it's your duty to actually push yourself, do your research, and come up with a good concept and delivering it. And most of the time, I think when artists, when they start off, they have this thing where they say, okay, I can't do that. That shouldn't be like that.
Mm.
As an artist, you have the skills and the knowledge for you to get online, go through forums, YouTube tutorial. There's so many research uh, you can do online these days. So you shouldn't like limit yourself. So I saw that in Bread, bro. Let's say if he doesn't know to do something at that moment, he will try to do it, and he will achieve it eventually. And by doing so, he has gained new knowledge. And
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
a design philosophy we both have when we do all of our projects. Let's say a client comes and tells us to do, let's say like they want like a very complex character. It might not be something we have tackled before, but we have the skills to actually execute that by going through different concepts, revisions, and all that shit. And eventually by doing that, we have gained new knowledge. I call that that's something I learned from uh, a veteran artist in Hollywood. It's very hard to pronounce his name, but I always listen to his podcast, and it's called project-based learning. You might not know how to do something initially, but if you put the effort and time to try to achieve it, you will be able to do it. That's like just common sense in my opinion. As an artist, you should always push yourselves. You should try to learn new techniques. You shouldn't limit yourselves. I saw
Yeah.
that in Brad, bro, and we connected in that first meeting.
Yeah, I think you can even hear that in the answer that he gave when I asked about whether or not you were as good as you wanted to be when you first started, and kind of to be able to say, well, no, but I just figured it out. Like that says a lot, because not just in art, but in any profession, if you're truly passionate and you have a drive within your own character, you're going to, at least in my experience, want to become better at what you do. And the only way that you get better at what you do is by, not being complacent and not doing the same thing you always do over and over again. It's by challenging yourself and taking on new adventures, and trying to, maximize your skill set. And I think that's what you want out of anybody that you hire, especially, for art. I mean, the people that would hire you both for getting across their mental ideas are doing that with you, because they can't do it themselves, and they're trusting you to put your skill set, to take their idea from their brain and put it onto whatever medium you're using, and to be able to accept those challenges and deliver for people is that's what you want, right?
Yeah.
So how did you and Breadbra, I mean, who came up with the idea? Well, before I get to Bready Bunch, why don't we talk about NFTs? Breadbra, I'll ask you first. How did you get into NFTs? Was it recently? Was it last year? Or when did you first hear about it and become interested in it?
So I actually made a very dumb move when Ethereum first, when first NFTs were first booming.
Yeah.
When Nifty Gateway first launched, I made a really dumb move where I didn't read anything. And I immediately put all my Ethereum in it, thinking I could put some of my artworks on it. And I'm like, bro, I just lost like $300. so that was that was the point where I knew, like, yeah, all right, I need to learn about what this shit is. I need to do it with people that know what this shit is.
Yeah.
And I kind of just stayed dormant. I started building my own art collections. I started making my own reps, making like broadening my skills in 3D, 2D, and after meeting Avo, and like with Avo, I feel like both me and him, we bring out the best drive in each other to a point where like our creative juices are just flowing everywhere. The whole room is just covered in that shit. So like it was very easy to brainstorm new ideas, come up with things that would actually catch on. Like every night we're just laughing about something new, some new idea, or like some bullshit. Like it's always funny, and like always it always keeps your mind occupied with
Right.
new and creative ideas. And at a certain point we were just thinking about different things, and I came to the office one day and I was just like, why don't we make toast? And it kind of blew from there. We took meaning from our past and we kind of built it on that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I was just about to ask Avocado, how did the idea come about? Not so much for how the art looks or how it was created, but just the focal point of your collection, your first collection being bread.
So I just mentioned to you about my best friend, right?
Yes.
So way back when, we both, he would come to my place and we would have these art sessions, like just I mentioned before. And one night he was like, hey, we should partner up and just do this shit seriously and let's come up with a name. And the one night we were like, okay, what the fuck are we gonna call? And there was like a loaf of bread on the table. It was like, let's just call ourselves bread. And my cousin was there too that night, and he was like, if someone asks you why bread, just say why the fuck not. And
that's a good response.
yeah, why the fuck not? And it wasn't about, like, the name shouldn't be about what you do, right? It's just, it kind of defined who we were back then. I was really young. It was always about having good vibes, spending your time with your best friend, doing these dope as artworks, and yeah, expressing your emotions through them. You're meeting new artists in the local festivals we used to do. And our approach was to have a very community driven thing where we invite other people to our store. We'll have like a big ass sofa, we'll have like coffees, and we will have like a mini gathering there. So
Yeah.
that was what we captured back then. Yeah, people will come and buy our thing, but at the same time we had this thing where whoever comes, we'll have like long ass conversations with them. We will ask them, who are you and all that. And we were able to gain a good local following back then. Bradbury, remember the hype back then? It was pretty awesome, I think.
Yeah, I dropped by the stall. Yeah, I threw
Yeah.
some bread at these guys and just left, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it had a very big lasting impression for me, in the sense that it's the people who support you that defines you. Like, that is something I wanted to capture again, like a very community driven project where
Right.
it's the people that is going to back us up. Yeah, our art is gonna be a driving force too, but it's the community that's going to help us elevate ourselves in the future. So that was one of the main pillars when forming the Bready Bunch collection, that we wanted to capture a very positive community who would support each other, that I can learn from also. Because personally, I was trying to improve myself day by day by meeting new people and hearing what they had to say. If they you shouldn't be like I know everything, like you should see that I know nothing, so you can learn something every day.
That's
So that was
yeah,
my
that's a great attitude. Did you learn about NFTs this year or last year, or when did that come about?
Oh, I've been looking at it since the boom started. I've been looking at it. I'm a sucker for research. I like going online. I'm always researching,
Yeah.
and since
Yeah,
I've
you
been
gotta do
following,
that.
yeah, I've been following a couple of artists for years, and these guys started doing NFTs. I mean, obviously everyone knows people, right? But there were like other guys like Ash Top, and so many other artists that I grew up watching, and all of these guys got into it, and I started doing my own research, and I was trying to find that right point for me to get into it. How do I get in? Because I don't have like a massive followers. Like it was easy for them to capture the community because they already had a good backup.
Right.
They had been doing their art for many years. They had like 100K 50,000 people following them online, so it was easy for them to have their foot in the NFT scene
Right.
when it boomed. But what about the artist who is not famous?
Right.
How do
Exactly.
they get into the industry? So I was trying to figure that out over the last year or so, trying to find my way into it. And we came up with this collection, and Solana is so easy for us in the sense it's fast. It's the gas fees is there's no gas fee if I mean obviously there's just 50 cents, right? I think that's
Yeah.
the highest.
If that, yeah.
Yeah. So we chose Solana as our gateway, and to have a good impression, obviously we try to come up with the highest quality collection we can produce
Yes.
ourselves, and that was the Bready Bunch, and I think it had a very good impression for the people who saw it.
Yeah, and while we're talking here, at least on the YouTube video, I'm gonna throw up some pictures of different Bready Bunch examples, so people know kind of what we're talking about. But while I'm kind of showing these, Bread, do you want to describe the collection itself a little bit and what makes it so special and unique? For me, like it's not just the characters themselves, but kind of the attention to detail and what it's in 4K, is that correct? And they're 3D renders?
They're all 3D renders and they're all generated inside Blender. They're in 4K, all of them. And when we were making the one-offs also, we actually did all of them in 4K. In terms of detail, we were actually, it's like using all the effort and all the potential we have in ourselves from all the different projects we've learned so far, like all the projects we've done, all the things we've learned, and put into one big collection. And that's the kind of thing I want to do moving forward with all our collections. And Bready Bunch is kind of where I see that shining the most with both of us.
Yeah.
The breads itself handmade. We made the textures ourselves. Avocado, great job on the bread textures. I would eat that bread. And
not the moldy one though, right?
Depends on how my mood is. If I'm on my munches, I would eat anything, man.
I see.
So like when we were making everything, we wanted to make it relatable in a way. So when we were, for example, the glasses I'm wearing, the Oreo glasses, we wanted to make sure that people get that biscuit feeling from that, and the Sunday feeling, like who would think there's an omelet on your head, but there's an omelet on your head, and you feel relatable to that. That's what I feel like, at least.
Yeah.
And that like stylized vision towards bread, which is like something you eat every day or something you enjoy and seen like so normal in your everyday life, just in having that personality and like showing you some attitude, I feel like gives up such a funny humor to it. So like that's where I feel like the whole artistic side of Bready Bunch came from.
Yeah, and avocado, like Bread Bro was saying, the textures are pretty amazing. If anybody just really takes the time to pull up one of these images on their own computer and kind of zoom in and look around, it's extremely detailed. How was that process for you? Was it frustrating? Was it rewarding? Was it both?
It was a mix of both. It's a lot of trial and error. We both have experiment with creating texture maps before too.
Mhm.
Um, just like any other technique, you learn over the time, right? And I feel like for this collection, I wouldn't say perfected it, but it's been these ones have been the best texture maps we both have been able to come up with. I don't like saying I, because even if I'm in the workstation and doing all the maps, Bread Bro is always behind me,
Right, right.
criticizing or giving me advice. Hey, you should do that. Hey, you should do that. This. So I like to say that we both did it. You know,
Gotcha.
design wise, one of the first thing we always do is get online, go to Pinterest or any other thing, and just find those high quality bread photos. We just go through them hours and hours and look what actually defines the texture, and you try to replicate them in Blender. And that's what we started doing at first,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
see if we can have that realistic look, but at the same time make it artistically pleasing too, if that makes any sense. So
Yep.
we were trying to find the middle ground between, like, if it's honestly, if something looks too realistic, there's a chance of it being kind of dull. I don't know how to explain it in words, but uh, it happens, like, if you don't bring a bit of hyper realism or hyper stylization to it, it can be a bit off, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
In some 3D characters also, it looks a bit off, right? The
Yep.
ones you see online, the models and everything. So some of these great artists, what they do is they bring a bit of stylization to their 3D works, so it feels a bit um cartoony, but at the same time you can relate to it without it looking that off.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you did a really good job of balancing that as a team in your work. I think it's really impressive, and it's what drew me to the project. I was not one of the lucky ones that was able to participate in your mint, but it's kind of a question that I've been wanting to ask. Either one of you can answer this, but so you have the collection and it's finished, but in the NFT space, art is not the only job, right? Like now that you've stepped into this new role as founders and creators of this amazing collection, the NFT space has the components of social media, of developing a Discord channel, of creating and growing a community. Uh, was that something that you just kind of started figuring out as you went along, or I mean, because that's a large task on top of creating the art as well.
So Bradford, should I say something about this, or
Sure,
I
sure.
gotta?
Yeah, you
So
can go on.
it's been a big learning curve. I'm not much of a social guy.
Mhm.
I have a very small friend circle, and yeah, I'm not very talkative guy. If someone knows me really well, I will talk to them, but I'm not much of a guy who talks with
Well, you're
people.
you're doing a great job right now, so keep going.
So the whole community thing, trying to engage with everyone, talking to them, had been a big learning curve, and it's kind of refreshing, to be honest. I really like it to step out of my comfort zone, trying to learn how to manage the community, to use the right words, how to convey your message properly. I'm still learning it, and one day I got online and I saw your feedback on our holders chat, and I immediately wanted to improve myself, to accommodate what you said on our holders chat.
Hmm.
Increase our social media footprint, engage more. Even the mere fact of doing this podcast, is because of what you said, because I think the only people who are going to talk the most about any project would be their founders. And if we don't get online, don't do Twitter spaces, if I'm not doing AMA, if I'm not talking directly with the community and the whole NFT community itself, I mean, the project is gonna fade away. Like, that's my ultimate opinion on this. I have to go get myself out there. If my conviction is, if I believe in what we are trying to do here, I think I should try my best to spread the message, you know?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And Bread Bro, when you're kind of seeing, you know, kind of the finish of the collection that happened, uh, from your experience and knowing what you knew about NFTs to that point, did you kind of have a semblance of like, oh wow, this is not the end just because we created the collection. This is now kind of just the beginning, because now you had to go through the entire minting process, right? Do you want to tell me about the mint process? Because it was free, right?
Yeah, the mint was free. Actually, I want to give a huge shout out to the whole team that helped us through the whole project,
Mm-hmm.
through devs, through the Krusty and the other mods, and everyone who helped us get this far with
Yeah.
the project. After making the art, we were well minting. We actually were having a few little mishaps with numbering and stuff, but other than that, the whole mint went great.
Yeah. And it sold out, right?
It sold out. It was a free mint. I was actually not in front of my PC when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And when it first launched, I was like, okay, I gotta go get some bread. And I went back upstairs from my elevator, and as soon as I dropped in front of my PC, gone. The whole collection
Oh,
out,
really?
sold out. Yeah, and it was a shocking moment, honestly, and I loved the feedback after that, and I loved the feedback from the whole community following up until, like, it's been 26 days since mint, and the volume traded and the amount of transactions happening on the floor is amazing, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. Whose idea was it, or how did it come together as a team decision for the mint to be free?
I
About
want to be fully transparent about it. We didn't start off as a free mint, but
Okay.
we faced a couple of problems. I guess number one would be that we were still learning,
Mm-hmm.
and the initial community we tried to find get didn't really like I don't want to say that they didn't like our Bready Bunch. I guess it wasn't the meta back then, you know. Everyone
Right.
was so into other kind of art style, so I think we weren't able to capture the same positive feedback we are getting now back then before pre-mint.
Gotcha.
And during our launch itself, the app coin got released on the same date as we were supposed to launch. That was on the 17th. So we thought that, hey, maybe it's because of the app coin, everyone is trying to get that, so let's delay it by a day and see what happens. But on the 18th also, we didn't get much traction. But
Mm-hmm.
obviously for me, yeah, money is essential too, but at the same time you believe in something so much that you'll be like, fuck it, let's just go free and see what happens, you know. That was our approach, you know. I
Yeah,
don't care.
and sometimes, you know, free advertising is the best advertising, right? Because you switch it to free, it sells out. And from what I've seen, I feel like I've been in the community's Discord and a part of being an owner of a Bready Bunch for, I don't know, a couple of weeks now, at least. And I heard about it because I was watching a Jersey live stream. I don't know if you're familiar with Jersey, but
Yeah,
yeah. And I'm just sitting there and I'm watching, and just one person in the chat said, "Hey, can you look at Bready Bunch?" And he was like, "Bready Bunch, what is that?" And he pulled it up on his computer, and I saw him, and I was like, "That's awesome. I love it." You know, like, and Jersey was like, "Oh yeah, those are cute." And apparently later in the stream, he purchased one or two of them, but just that one person mentioning it in his stream got me, and now I own a whole bunch of them. I think they're great, but that's kind of what you're talking about, right? Like just the power of community and being able to market the project. Who better to market it than the members of the community?
Exactly. Yeah.
Definitely. I'm actually very happy with how the whole mint went, and both Avocado and me are were like amazed by how the community is like taking us and like welcoming us so easily into the like whole NFT scene and like supporting us, giving us advice. And thanks, Jude, you too, for all the remarks and feedback you've been giving us as well. I feel like this is how we'll grow, and we are not afraid to say that we're just growing right now, and like by I don't know when, but we will keep growing from every project we're doing, and like every day is a new learning curve, I would say.
Yeah.
In this space.
Yeah. With that being said, do you want to tell people outside of the great artwork that they can observe Avocado, what are some of the utilities of having and owning a Bready Bunch NFT?
So I'll start with our main utility. One of the greatest strength we have is obviously our artistic skills. So I want to bank on that and provide that as a utility for our holders. So me and Brad Bro have been doing freelance works for a couple of years. We started working together like it's been a year now, and we have experienced a lot of different kind of projects. We are very good at what we do in terms of branding, creating marketing content for people, and creating animations, illustrations. So our skill set is very wide. So I thought, hey, we've been doing this freelance thing in the non-NFT market for so many years. Let's try to replicate the same thing. But when we work, the revenue, the profit will be, a portion of it will be shared with our community. Like we can use that as a way to funnel fund to our DAO, to the community wallet. So that's the main utility.
Right.
The more we work, the more we execute more projects, and as we grow, I will be able to bring more people on board so we can increase our work output. And if we say, let's say in a month or two, if we are able to tackle like 3 or 4 projects, and the fund we receive from those projects can be used to drive our community. And that, I feel like that's very unique approach. I haven't seen an art utility based project in Solana yet. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure there will be other kind of, but so far the only people I saw was Glitterflies, but they have their own thing going on. But I haven't really seen a project that provides art-based utility, like doing PFP designs in 3D and 2D, creating marketing content and animations. And
is that something that so let's say there's a group out there who have a lot of developmental skills with being able to use computers. They're very technically savvy, but they don't have an artistic skill set to create the actual artwork for the NFTs. They would contact you or anybody on your team, and you would strike a deal to create the artwork for a collection that they're creating, or basically for anything that they're looking to create, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And with that let's say it's for an NFT collection, would that then, how would you structure kind of the payment around that? Is that something that you would wait until after it mints, or would you as a team value your time and say, no, you're gonna pay us before any minting happens? Like, it's just, this is a service that we're providing you, so we're going to get paid up front.
It will be the second one you just said, because we are trying to replicate the same thing we have been doing as freelancers,
Yeah, it makes sense.
We are not trying to seek royalties. We don't want that to happen. We're just trying to provide a service. It's going to be like an upfront payment model where we receive a down payment, which is like a commitment fee,
Mm-hmm.
which kind of binds two parties together under the negotiation we have, and it's our duty to do everything by the deadline. And after the project is finished, they will do the final payment. So
Yep.
for
I think
different
that
client,
I think the community would appreciate that, way more. In the NFT space, people are, now. So I think that's a great approach to doing it.
I don't see a reason
Yeah,
why we need to find we need to seek royalties from. They are paying us to do something, so at the end of the day, they own that thing. I don't want to seek royalties from, let's say we do a 5,000 collection and that collection is successful. Good on them. The only thing they have to do is just give a shout out that,
Yeah.
hey, Bready Bunch were the ones who made the artwork for us. And I think that's enough. Like, they already paid us. We'll move on to the next one and we'll keep on moving.
Yeah. Yeah. Breadbud, were
yeah,
you
yeah.
gonna say?
Like other than the projects that me and Evo are both giving our full commitment to, not just art wise, just as our own projects, I feel like we don't really want to get attached to other projects the same way.
Right.
So even though we're giving our full potential in making the artwork the best it can, the branding the most relatable and the most human friendly we can, it's at the same time we want to make sure that we give that attachment and that personal touch and feeling towards the projects we are making and the community that we are trying to build.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah. I just wanted to ask and, clarify kind of what your thought process was going to be as far as that's concerned. And like I said, I think the community will like that answer a lot. Okay. And is there anything else on the roadmap that you want to talk about as well?
So currently we are in our auction phase. So since we are free mint, that means we initially didn't receive any funds from our minting process. The only funds we are receiving currently are from our secondary royalties. But we have to fund our liquidity pool for our staking mechanism, where we are introducing our Gen 2 collection down the roadmap. So to fund our token, we are running this high quality one-of-one animated Bready Bunch NFTs in Magic Eden. We just sold off our first one for 8 SOL, which is
Yeah, and that ended, was that yesterday or the day before?
it was a day before.
It was so good. It was so successful. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
And you have more of these in the works?
Yeah, we have currently, I posted a timeline today. I think currently we have like 8 to 9 more to go.
Cool.
I'm currently doing the third one. The second one is already finished, and we are about to upload that to Magic Eden, and they will give us a response. And once we have a confirmation with the actual date, we'll post that in our community. The Bread Bro is doing the fourth one, and after that we'll keep on doing them. And we are trying to reach our LP goal, which is above 100 SOL. If we
Gotcha.
reach that goal, we'll be able to deploy our staking as soon as possible, because the platform is already ready. Our
Right.
dev, Krusty, and his 2 other partners were developed it before the pre-mint. But since we have no LP, I don't see a reason for us to rush, and it might actually be detriment to the whole project.
I agree. Are your developers on that side, are they kind of dealing with learning about tokenomics and maybe what the best combination of LP funds versus coins produced per day and supply and all that? Are they kind of tackling that problem?
Yeah, Krusty, he always gives me a couple of notes every day. He's still tinkering with the whole idea, because nothing is confirmed. Since we are free mint, we have to be very careful with our tokenomics, because it's either make it or break it kind of thing. If you don't have your tokenomics on point, it will have a very bad effect on the whole project. So we have to be really careful. So he's still tinkering with it and trying to figure out what's the best approach. But right now I have told him, hey, let's just see how the auctions will go. Let's not get hasty. Slow and steady always win the race. Let's just try with what we have planned so far in the roadmap. And if things doesn't go according to the plan, there's always the room for a plan B or a plan C. You should never give up. You can always reach out to our community and see what their opinion is. So right now we're just sticking to what's in the roadmap.
Absolutely. And I know that the NFT space moves very quickly, but where would you like to see the project in 3 months?
For Bready Bunch, I would
Yeah.
say we want to build the community. I know I'm saying that over and over a lot, but
Yeah.
they really want to build the community in a way that one person interacting with another in Discord is like basically talking to a friend.
Mhm.
And your Bread being able to represent you and being able to have fun, joke around, make memes. I love the memes they're making in the Discord, and
Yeah,
like
they're pretty
the
good.
amount of different stuff they're making, and that's what's keeping me going, I would say.
Yeah.
In 3 months or so, I would love to see the same amount. I want to get into Discord more, and I'll try my best to be more active for sure.
Mhm.
But I want to see that growth in the community when the auctions are done, and when we are able to get staking live, when Generation 2 is also launching, and where through the whole roadmap of it, I feel like we have great support from everyone that got on board from before pre-mint, and that got the free mint, and people that are buying even afterwards. The whole community itself is one big ball of love towards Bread.
Big ball of dough.
Big ball of dough, yeah.
Well, how about you, Avocado? Things have been going pretty well, right? Like for a free mint, you got a really awesome community that's blossoming right in front of you. Where would you like to see the project head in the next few months?
Well, there's nothing more to add to it much. I think bro just spoke my mind too. Yeah, like I mean, yeah, it's not bad for Freeman.
No,
But
not at all. You guys should be proud of yourselves. This is
yeah,
great.
I'm really proud. I'm just trying to, look, I try to keep myself grounded. I don't like to like be overconfident.
Right.
I'm always questioning myself. Hey, okay, what's next? I'm that kind of a guy. And
Mhm.
I'm always like listening to what you guys had to say about the project. And in 3 months, I want to achieve all what we have said in the roadmap, and I want to go beyond. And what's next? That's my goal for the next 3 months. I want to in the next 3 months, hopefully we'll have Gen 2 out,
Mhm.
and we'll have a very good thriving diamond hand community. And by then, our art utility service would, I hope we have like couple of projects already done by then, so we can showcase that also to our community, and like, hey, we really did it. This
Mhm.
is our works we have done for other projects. We are here, we are building something, and we want you to be part of what's next for us, because Brady Bunch, in the essence, is just the foundation we are laying for us in the NFT space.
Yep.
And we want to build the first floor, the second floor, the third floor with the help of the community, because
Yeah.
we have so many ideas we want to execute, but we don't want to rush to anything. That's one of the best thing I like about me and Brad, that we don't like rushing to any projects we do. Even for other clients, we are very transparent with our schedule. We say, hey, if this is what you want, it's going to take time.
Mhm.
We always been like that with every work we have done so far.
I think,
And
yeah, I think
when you put a
that's
lot
great.
of effort and time to it, it can be successful.
Yeah, and so far so good. You guys you guys are doing a great job. I'm very happy to be kind of an observer from the community and be able to watch kind of the growth that's happened. And I think all those goals that you have for yourselves on the roadmap and 3 months from now, whatever, they're all attainable, and I think you will attain them. And if either of you or both of you want to be on this show again, kind of maybe 3-4 months from now, we can take a look at how Gen 2 did, and how the subcontracting has gone with other businesses. I'm happy to have you back.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
nice.
just hit us up.
Yeah, we can
hit us
do
up.
like a call back and review the whole project
Yeah,
together. That would be really fun, to be
awesome.
honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I appreciate both of you being on. Is there anything else, or that pretty much did a good job, right?
Yeah. There's a
Yeah,
couple of
thanks for having us here, by the way.
yeah,
It's
there's
great to
one
be
a
here.
couple of things that I want to actually mention, like
Sure, go
before
ahead.
I yeah, like for me personally and for even Breadbird, this is very new to us, but we are here and we are learning the space every day. And one thing, when you come from an artistic background, you have a habit of learning from your masters,
Mm,
and that's what we've been doing for the last couple of weeks. We are learning from the people who have actually have established themselves in the NFT space. They are like people like Tom from Tayo,
yes.
people like Frank from D-Gods. I'm every day getting online, looking at what they're doing, and there's no shame in admitting that you should try to copy them. If I mean, you learn from their experience, you try what they do, and I've been trying to replicate the same mentality they have. And one thing I noticed from all of them is that they communicate a lot with their community. They're always talking, they're always spreading their information, and that's something that we both will be trying to do more in the future,
Hmm.
like get on Twitter space, talk with the community directly, do
I th-
AMAs,
yeah,
get on.
I think when you're talking specifically about the NFT community, the reason why that's so important, I think, to so many people, I can't speak for all of them, but when you see the founders and you see the leaders of the project constantly talking, it gives the feedback that this project is alive. This project is not going anywhere, it's not fading away. And I think in a space where people don't know each other, we're just typing to each other or speaking to each other through screens. I think it's easy for people to lose trust that the thing that they put their money into is not being cared for. And I
Yeah,
think when you get that communication so frequently, it leaves no doubt in the mind of the community member that this project is not going anywhere, whether it's warranted or not. I think that's kind of the mental approach that happens when people don't get communicated to in the NFT space.
yeah, I agree. So yeah, in the coming weeks or beyond that, we'll be more active. I'll
Mhm.
definitely get on with an AMA in Discord soon, and
Awesome.
after that, we'll start doing Twitter Space, hopefully with other collections too.
Yeah.
There's so many podcasts that are happening every day. There's so many Twitter Spaces that are happening, so I don't see a reason why we shouldn't be there talking
Sure.
about the collection and what we believe in. And I'm actually doing a short write-up on it's like a blog. I'm just gonna write a why the Bready Bunch, how it came to be, and what's the future, and what's my
Yeah.
mindset behind the whole project, and what's our future, and what did NFT has done for artists as a whole. it, like what are the benefits on a personal level and on a professional level for anyone. Like i
Awesome.
want to i want to I want to express that through words, so I'm going to finish the write up and upload it. I haven't decided where I'm going to do it. It's either going to be in a Gitbook, or I'm just going to do a Medium post.
Yep.
So that will also help facilitate that communication part. More people will know what we are doing. We are here and we are building,
Yeah.
basically.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm glad that I was able to have you guys on a podcast first. I'll always have that. And like I said, if you ever want to come back, just hit me up and we'll make it happen. But guys, I really appreciate you both being here today. And good luck in the future with Bready Bunch. And I'm sure it's going to be a smashing success. So for everybody that's watching or listening, comment, like, share, get this out there and share it with people that might not know about the project. And it's a good starter, I think, for people to understand where the passion of the project comes from with some of the founders here, and you'll be able to see where the project's going. And until next time, my name is Jude Newcomb, and this has been the Blockchain Chronicles. Take care. Hey everyone, thanks for watching the Blockchain Chronicles. If you like anything that you heard today, please give the video a thumbs up. If you want to contribute to the conversation that was had between the guests, leave a comment below and we'd love to get your thoughts. Also, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you'll get notified every time that we upload, which we are looking to do a couple times a week. So make sure you don't miss out. So once again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the future. Bye.